Hello, welcome back to the JoJo series, and today we are going to be creating barrages. So first of all, we are going to move the animations and the effects to a folder in replicated storage because I'm going to be reusing them a lot. Hold on. I'm going to copy this. It's for newsstands, you know. Let's make a folder, call it punch animations. Paste. Make a folder. Head animations. Copy this. Put the idle animation inside of the animation player. Copy both sound effects and hit effects. I'll make the folder effects folder. Okay. Now let's adjust the script a bit. Okay, now let's test this out, making sure there's no bugs, no errors. Okay, the animation works. Oops. Okay, let's try out the effects. Okay, they still work, which is good. Okay, now let's make the barrages. So for the barrage, I'm going to make a module for it, but let's make the local script and the server script first. Put the local script instead of moves. I'm planning to change the system later, don't worry. It might be messy at first, but I'll rework it. And let's make a remote event. Name this Barrage. Local barrage equals game.replicated storage. Game with child barrage. Do one for user input service as well. Game get service, user input service. Now I'll make two functions for two events, input began and input ended, because I want to make it so you can't end your barrage. I want to make the key code E. I'll fire boolean true, and in this one I'll fire false. Okay, now let's make the server script. Barrage. So you press a key and it'll check if you're typing. If you're typing, it'll stop the script. If the key you're pressing is E, then it's gonna fire the server with the parameter true. If you stop pressing a key, it's gonna check if the key that you stopped pressing is E, and it's gonna fire a remote event, and the parameter is false. Now, now we're gonna connect an on-server event. There's two parameters, player and the boolean. I'm going to name this pressed. If pressed, then if pressed is basically the same as if pressed equals true. It's basically checking if pressed is anything but false or nil. If it is, then it's going to continue the script. Now, I'll make a code for the barrage and the stop barrage. So let's make a module for this. Module script. There we go. I'll name this module barrage handler. Let's make a few functions. Let's do the index._index equals module. I'm going to make this OOP, by the way, create the constructor function. Forgot to put in function. I'll explain what it is later. Return the meta table with the barrage and the meta table module. I'll do a few properties. The character, and then the animation, max punch, current punch. This one you don't change, and the rate. The default rate would be 0.1, and the default max punch would be 100. Let's create the methods function module start barrage function module stop barrage. Now I'm going to be playing the animation, but first we need to reference it to the stand. Local stand equals self to character dot stand, and the animation controller local animator equals stand dot animation controller self dot animation equals self dot equals animator dot animation self dot animation play. Now in stop barrage, I'll do self.animation stop. Now let me explain. In the server script, we require the module local barrage handler. Let's require game.service-storage.modules.barrage handler. Okay. We'll create the barrage object. Local barrage equals barrage handler dot create barrage. Barrage dot character equals player dot character. Barrage dot animation equals nil. I'll do nil for now, so I'm going to put in the animation later. Barrage dot max punch, I'm not going to change that. Okay, and then do barrage start barrage. You may be wondering, bro, it's a function, how can you add in properties and functions? Well, this is essentially a table since we returned a table, as you can see. Now you may also be wondering, what's this function? How can you attach the function to this table? Well, this is called a table. So what I'm doing here is I am starting the function. I'm attaching the function to this table, to this meta table. Since the function is not inside of this table, it's going to fire the index of the module of the meta table, which is this. Set meta table has two parameters, the normal table, the meta table. The object is not a thing inside of the table, so it fires the index of the meta table, and it looks for the object inside of this table, inside of the index. I'll do an example real quick. Now, let's say we want to print barrage dot yellow, but yellow is not a property inside of this table. So we can change the index to something like this. Hold on, let's comment this out. Module __ index equals table, and let's add in yellow, and I'll make the value yellow. I added in the index yellow and the value, which is yellow. Let's see what happens next. As you can see, it prints out yellow. But if I change the index to something like blue, it's going to print nil, because the index we're trying to find is not a thing inside of this table. See? Let's change it back to this. And let's start the barrage. Also, let's do the tweening. I'm going to require a module called tween-service-v2 game require game.replicate storage.tween-service-v2. The tween info, I'm going to copy the tween info from combat server. Tween info, okay, info here. Paste it in here, and let's tween this. Tween service create the instance, which is the weld. Let's make a weld variable real quick. Weld equals stand dot weld, and let's put in the weld here, the info, and the property. I want to change to C1 and move the character forwards. So I'll copy the C1 from here. cframe.new 001, and I'm going to make this cframe.new 001.5 since I want it to be in front of the character a little bit more. And let's play this tween. Let's also do the same here, but we're going to make the stand go backwards. So let's copy this. Oh yeah, I forgot about the weld variable. The weld equals self.character.stand.weld. By the way, if I haven't explained it, these colon, semicolon functions are called meta methods, and you can attach it to any table. And self is basically the table that it's attaching it to. Yeah. And you can update the table by doing this, self.character. By doing this, self.animation equals animator load self.animation. So I'm replacing the animation object with the loaded version of the animation object. Now let's put in the animation object real quick. I'm going to copy the ID. Alright. Let's put the animation instead of punch anims. Animation. Paste in the ID. Right, that's the ID. Let me paste it here. Okay, I'm going to rename this to Barrage, and I'll set this property, this animation property, to game.replicate.storage.punchanims.barrage. Now we're going to have to figure out a way to stop the barrage. Well, you might be thinking you can just do barrage stop. Well, you can't do that since the barrage object hasn't been made yet. Well, you may also think you can just cut this and put this above here. Well, you're wrong. It's not gonna work since when you press the key E, it's going to fire the remote event. It's going to create the barrage. Okay, it's going to create the barrage and start the barrage. Now, if you let go of E, it's also going to create the barrage. But we only want to stop it. So I'm going to have to make a function to find an existing barrage, and if that barrage already exists, then it's going to stop it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a table called local active barrage, and I'm going to put the character, I'm going to index the character inside of the active barrage table. Active barrage self.character equals self. Now since you have access to self, you can stop it. Now let's do the same for here, except I want to clear the table. Active barrages self.character equals nil. Now let's also check if the barrage already started. If active barrage self.character, then warn barrage already started. Yeah, and return to stop this. And let's do the same thing for here. If not active barrage self.character, then warn barrage hasn't even started, and then you return. Simple as that. And let's make a function to find a barrage. Now, since the index is self.character, I'm going to do something like this: function module find barrage, and set the parameter to character. It's going to look for the character index inside of active barrages. Now, if the character is inside of the active barrage, if the character has already barraged, then it's going to return active barrages character. Okay. Now we can do something like this: local barrage equals barrage handler dot find barrage player dot character. If barrage, then barrage stop barrage. Yep. Very simple. Let's see if there's any errors. You barrage, you stop barraging. You barrage, you stop barraging. Okay, and now this looks really good, but it's only the tweening, and there's already a problem with the tweening. When you summon and you barrage, it's going to go back. That's because the tween service v2 is canceling the barrage tween, because the summoning tween is longer than the barrage tween. Now let's try another issue. When you punch and you barrage, it's going to tween back. Well, that's not because the tween is canceling the barrage tween. That's because I barrage before it gets tweened back. Now let's fix the issue. The first issue we're going to fix is the summoning issue. Now we're going to do that by replacing the tween service with normal tween. Local normal tween equals game get service tween service. Now we're only going to be using normal tween for the movement. Normal tween create. We don't need to use normal tween for the transparency and stuff. And we don't need to use normal tween for the unsummoning. Now let's go for the combat server. I'm going to check. Now here, look at this. Checks if the combo is still the same. And then I'm going to also check if the character is not attacking. And not character, get attribute attacking. Okay, so now let's set this attribute inside of the server storage module. Okay, so now let's set the attacking attribute to the character in this module. Self.character set attribute attacking true. Let's do the same in here, but except I'm going to change this to nil. Let's check if everything is good so far. Yep, it's good. Now let's test this out. Okay, we summon a barrage. Okay, so it doesn't tween back. It might seem a little buggy. Well, it is a little buggy, but at least it's not tweening back. Now let's try the M1 again. M1. Okay. Oh, it's not tweening. Oh, what? What's going on? I messed up. And not character get attribute attacking. Okay. Well, it works. See? We don't need to do it for the fifth one, for the else if. Well, that's because I'm going to stun the character if the combo is 5. Not stunning, I mean yielding the set attribute to nil, since I didn't use delay here. so it's gonna yield the script. Okay, now let's do the hitboxes. Now for the hitboxes, I'm going to be using my hitbox module, JOJO hitbox. I've just updated it recently just for this video. Here's the update log. I'm going to be using these two functions, not for the barrage, for the combat, since I'm going to be replacing the hitbox. Now let's put this inside of the server storage. Okay, let's require this module. Local JOJO hitbox. Require game.server-storage.JOJO hitbox.modules.JOJO hitbox. So here's how this module works. It's similar to Reworking hitbox. You create the hitbox object, you set the properties, you connect the touched event, and you start the hitbox, you stop the hitbox. Now in this case, the hitbox is an actual box. You can change this to a box or a sphere. And I'm using a special query for this hitbox. So instead of using recast params, it uses overlap params. So let me demonstrate the hitbox for a bit. You can skip this if you already know how to use it, since I've already made a video about this. So yeah. Now let's create a part. Script local JOJO hitbox equals require game.server-storage.modules.JOJO hitbox. Now you create the hitbox object. There's a function for it called JOJO hitbox.create hitbox, and a few properties: the keyframe, the size, the offset, and there's an event called touched. There's also other properties like detection mode, but I'm not going to go into it in this video since I'm going to be using the default. There's also the start function and the stop function. Now I'm going to set the keyframe to keyframe.new 000. I'll set the size to vector3.new 10 10 10. I don't need to do the offset. The offset takes in a keyframe, and you already know what an offset is. It's an offset, self-explanatory. I only need to cover these few things. Touched connect function, and two parameters for the touched event, hit and humanoid. I'm going to print the hit and take him and damage the humanoid. I'll remove this. Now this is the hitbox. Okay, let's try out the hitbox. See, it works, and there's also a built-in debounce for it, so it doesn't hit dummies multiple times. Okay, you can also set the keyframe to an instance, and it'll follow the instance, as you can see right here. .keyframe equals script.parent, and this will follow the instance. As you can see, this follows the instance, and yeah, it works. You can also set the overlap params. It's the same as recast params, but for special query. So I don't need to get onto that. Okay, let's use this hitbox module in Barrage handler. Now I'm going to create a while loop, but I'm going to put this inside of a new thread, so I don't want to yield the script inside of here. That's the function while self.current punch is smaller than self.max punch, then do task.wait the rate self.rate. Now what rate is what punch per the rate. So I'm going to be doing 100 punch. Well, let's say if your rate is 2 seconds, that means your throwing a punch per 2 seconds. So yeah, let's create the hitbox. Local hitbox equals mochacho hitbox dot create hitbox. Set the properties. Hitbox dot size equals vector of 3 dot new 777. Hitbox dot keyframe equals self dot character dot root part. I'll set the offset. Dot offset equals self equals keyframe dot new 00 minus 2.5 or minus 3. I want this hitbox to be in front of the character. And let's set the touch event. Connect function hit and humanoid. Now I want to add in a new property, add in two new properties. The damage, the default damage would be 1, and the duration. The default duration would be 3 seconds. Okay. And the cooldown. Default cooldown would be 5 seconds. Oh, no, 5 seconds, yeah, 5 seconds. Now we start the hitbox. Start task.wait 0.1 and stop it. I'll change this to self.wait minus 0.01 since this already yielded script already. Okay, so I'm going to humanoid take damage self.damage. Let's also set the overlap params. Local params equals overlap params.new. Params.filter type equals enum.filter type recast filter type dot blacklist. Params.filter descendant instance equals self.character. Since I don't want the barrage to hit the character, you know. Hitbox.overlap params equals params. You can also turn off the visualizer, but I'm not gonna do that yet. Now I'll do the other stuff, like the duration stuff later. So now let's test out the hitbox. Hold on, let me check something. Okay. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be current punch is smaller than next punch. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's supposed to be table. Let's see if this works. Root part is not a vault member. Oh yeah, it's humanoid root part, not root part. Humanoid root part. Let's see if the hitboxes work. Yeah, it works. I think it's too slow, man. It's way too slow, I think. Oh, let's do 0.01 instead. Let's make it faster. You might think the hitbox is not working or it's invisible, but if you switch to the server, it's working. The visualizer is working, but it doesn't work in the client because of a visual bug or something. Because latency, maybe. Okay, now let's do the duration stuff. Let's do task.delay. Actually, no. Yeah. Let's do task.delay. Task.delay. Delay. Self.duration. Function. Barrage equals let's do if active barrages self.barrage, then active barrages self.barrage stop. Now let's add in a new property, but we're not supposed to change it. I'll call it barraging. Yeah, barraging equals true. Don't change. It's for the while loop. And self.barraging do. In here, I'm going to do self.barraging equals false. Print. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be self.character, not self.barrage. My bad. Oh yeah, it's stop barrage, not stop. Stop barrage. There we go. Let's see if this works. And it stopped. Let's see if we can stop the barrage. Let's see if we can stop the barrage by stop pressing the E key. It works. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, let's turn off the visualizer. Hitbox.visualizer equals false. Edit. I didn't know why I added a duration property inside of the barrage handler when I've already added max punch. So you don't need this. Yep, you don't need this, and we also don't need this. We already have max punch, so this is pointless. We remove this. We remove this. And we change the current punch to max punch to immediately stop the while loop and to stop the barrage. We can just do something like this. Stop barrage. Stop barrage. Yep. And increment the current punch. I'm going to increment it right here. Self.current punch plus equals 1. Yeah. Let's do this right here, actually. There. And it works. Fantastic. Let's make sure that that was 100 punches. So let's print self.current punch. And that works. Fantastic. Okay, let's wait until 100. It stopped. Excellent. Alright, this is all for the update. Now continuing the video. And now let's do the cooldowns. Now for the cooldowns, I'm going to be doing a combination of attributes and this one. This uses tables for the cooldowns and waste of time. But there's a better way to do this by using attributes and a waste of time. Let's do something like this. If self.character get attribute barrage. Not, let's do this below this. Okay, let's do the cooldown check. If self.character get attribute barrage cooldown, I'm going to call the cooldown barrage cooldown. Then if self.character get attribute barrage cooldown if os.time minus self.character get attribute barrage cooldown is bigger or equals self.cooldown, then barrage then self.character set attribute barrage cooldown. No. Now I'm only going to set the barrage cooldown once the barrage has ended. So let's do something like this. Self.character set attribute barrage cooldown cd os.time. Let's do the same for this. Self.character set attribute barrage cooldown os.time. Let's see if this works. I don't want the barrage to set the cooldown immediately because the duration is 3 seconds. If I keep barraging and the cooldown has already started, the real cooldown is only going to be 2 seconds. Oh, I forgot to do return and oh yeah. Else return. Yeah. Okay. Let's try this out. Stop. I press E. It's not gonna barrage until 5 seconds. And yeah, this is working. Amazing. Let me delete this. Let's also change the cooldown for summon server. Remove this. If character get attribute summon cooldown. Replacing everything with attributes. Yeah, let's see if this works. I don't know if this will work or not, but hey, worth a try. Yep, already errors. Oh, it's supposed to be get attribute, not set attribute. I wasn't thinking. I was blindly copy pasting. Okay, now let's check if this will work or not. It will work. I think this will work. I know what I'm doing wrong. I promise. Okay, yeah, it works. Amazing. Yeah, it works. Fantastic. Now, I'm going to be using the hit module for the barrage. For the barrage module. Hold on. Barrage handler. Yeah, I'm going to be using the hit module instead of take damage. Okay, now let's require the hit module. Hit module because require game.service origin modules.hit module. Okay. Hit module dot hit, the hit, the enemy rate, the hum, the property, I think, the humanoid, humanoid. And then what? And then what? No? Oh, our character. Hold on, well, I can find self.character. And then the properties. Damage would be self.damage. The knockback would be maybe self.character.humanoid root part .cframe.load vector times 2 maybe. I don't want the knockback to be huge. Stun duration, set this to 0.1. Oh, stun duration. Stun duration equals 0.1. Yeah, and then the hit effects. Now let's copy the hit effects from combat server. Yeah. Now I'm going to be playing random animations. Okay, so let's do get children. It's to transform this into table. So the index would be 1 2 3 instead of the names. Okay, I'll play random animations. Hit anims method random 1 and the length of hit anims. Okay, now let's put the effects function in here. Effects. Okay, it's called effects, right? Yeah, it's called effects. And let's update the hit module. So here I destroyed the LP instead of the A0. Well, if I destroy only the LP, then the A0 will not get destroyed. But if I destroy the A0, the LP would get destroyed because the LP is inside of the A0. So which means I'm creating attachments, then I'm not deleting them. That's a huge mistake. So let's remove the A0 and let's see if this works. I hope it does. Okay, our error already. Fantastic. Hit.hitmon. Okay. Play is not a valid member of. Oh, you have to load the animation. Humanoid. Load animation. Yeah. Fantastic. Oh yeah, it's anchored. Let me unanchor this. You know what? Let's just create a new dummy. Let's just create a dummy. This dummy is R15. I'm going to create an R6 dummy. R6. Let's unanchor this. Let's see if this works. It will work, I promise. Well, it's not getting. Oh, it is getting knocked back. Oh yeah, cooldown. Oh my god, bro, this cooldown, man. I have to wait 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Amazing. Now, bonus chapter. I'm going to be replacing the hitbox, the Reworking hitbox, with the muchacho hitbox. Let's go to combat server. Now, I'll require the muchacho hitbox, local muchacho hitbox. Let's require game the service storage modules muchacho hitbox. Let's remove this. This is useless. I want to replace the module, the hitbox module, because with the muchacho hitbox, the hitbox is a box, and I can put this in front of the player, and I can make this really big, so it has a higher chance of hitting people while moving. Okay. Muchacho hitbox dot create hitbox. Hitbox dot size equals vector 3 dot new 666 hitbox dot cframe equals character dot humanoid part, and I want to turn on the visualizer, so I'll comment this out. And what else? The overlap params, obviously. Overlap params, change the params to overlap params, and change the hit stop to stop. JOJO hitbox. Start. Oh yeah, the offset. Box. The offset was cframe.new00 minus 2. Now I'm going to be waiting for 0.16 seconds to start the hitbox, because it's square and it's already in the front. I need to wait until my character throws a punch. I'm change the stop. Now, since my module doesn't have a get hitbox function, I'm going to be using find hitbox. Okay, it's similar to get hitbox, but the key, the index it uses, it doesn't use a part. So for the get hitbox, so now I'm going to replace this with find hitbox. JOJO hitbox, find hitbox, and the parameter would be the key. Now, right now we don't have a key, but I'm going to set the key to hitbox.key equals player.name concatenated with m1. Player.name concatenated with m1. Yeah, let's see if this works. I hope it works. I hope it works. Oh yeah, it's on hit. In my module, it's .touched, not on hit. Okay, let's try this out. And it works. Nice. Alright, this is it for this video. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.